Nobita poured a bag of cement into his mouth and instantly gained a resolve as solid as a rock, determined to finish all his homework at once. But only 3 minutes had passed and Nobita was already getting impatient. He decided to take a break, but Doraemon, sitting beside him, wasn't the least bit flustered because he had long known Nobita would react this way. So the resolve cement he gave Nobita didn't affect his mind, but would force Nobita to finish the tasks he had previously decided to do, but failed to complete. Therefore, until he finished his homework, Nobita couldn't leave his desk. Moreover, there was no antidote for the resolve cement. Even when Shizuka came to ask him to go swimming, Nobita could only frantically pound on the desk and cry while complaining to Doraemon for not telling him sooner about the effects of the resolve cement. Just then, Jian and Sunio came to ask him to play baseball. Doraemon has no choice but to step in and explain to them. Fortunately, the game starts at 3:00 p.m. Nobita still has time to finish his homework. Just then, Nobita suddenly remembers he needs to use the restroom, and he can't hold it in anymore. So, in order to leave his desk, he has no choice but to study. While struggling to control his body, it's clear he really can't hold it in anymore. Finally, Nobita finishes all his homework. He immediately runs out of the room. As he relieves himself, Nobita returned to his room. He couldn't believe he had actually finished his homework. He was overjoyed and felt the exhilaration of achieving his goal. Just then, Doraemon reminded him of the 3:00 p.m. baseball game. Nobita instantly panicked because he was afraid that if he struck out, he would face retaliation from Yan and Sunio. When he got out onto the street, he suddenly thought of a good idea. He grabbed a packet of resolve cement and swallowed it and set a goal to hit a home run. Just as their team was about to lose the game, he walked over holding a bat and declared that he was going to hit a home run today. Jian and Sunio were both stunned by his arrogance. But when faced with the opposing pitcher's throw, Nobita didn't even make a single hit. In the end, he was eliminated. He was still wondering why the determination cement hadn't worked when Jian and Suneo were already preparing to teach him a lesson. Just then, raindrops suddenly appeared on the ground, and soon, a downpour began. The players from both teams immediately dispersed, but Nobita couldn't leave. Since he had eaten the determination cement, he had to hit a home run to leave. With no other choice, he had to pitch and bat by himself. Just then, Doraemon came over to help Nobita pitch and let Nobita bat. In the end, they all stood by Nobita's side, but Nobita still couldn't hit it. Finally, the rain stopped. Doraemon threw the 263rd pitch, but Nobita still couldn't hit it. By then, fiery clouds had already appeared. Nobita was exhausted, sticking out his tongue. Doraemon was just as worn out as he threw that final pitch. He collapsed to the ground from exhaustion. Unexpectedly, Nobita actually managed to hit the ball, sending it soaring for a home run. The two celebrated joyfully on the field. When they returned home, they both caught colds from the chill, but then Nobita started worrying that Jian would beat him up the next day. Doraemon then came up with an idea for Nobita. He told Nobita to eat some resolve cement the next day and go pick a fight with Jian. Then, he should put on the equal strength ring. Just by wearing it, he would have the same fighting power as his opponent. So, if he wanted to win, he would have to rely on his own willpower. The next day, Nobita swallowed the resolve cement and resolved to defeat Jian, but Jian wasn't home. They learned that Jian was helping his mom with chores. When they arrived at the shop, they just missed Jian. They found out he had just left. The two returned to Jian's house again, but his mom told them that Jian had gone out to make a delivery for her. So the two had no choice but to go looking for him again, but they missed Jian once more. Nobita was at a loss. He had no choice but to ask his friends to pass on a message for him. Everyone thought he must be crazy. To prove his strength, Nobita threw a punch at a concrete pipe. Unexpectedly, he ended up breaking his glove. Unfortunately, Jian showed up just then. Nobita was so scared, he didn't know what to do. He immediately ran back home, but until he had fulfilled the resolve he had made, he would never go home.